I appreciate your patience, and thank you for your participation. There's no better place to talk about the city of Philadelphia. There's no better place to talk about who we are and what we're about as the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection, founded by William Penn, sits atop, of course, our great city hall, a city founded on the fundamental principle of tolerance for all and acceptance of all and no discrimination toward anyone. You'll hear from a number of speakers. I will make some remarks and kind of introduce to some and present to others the various speakers. You'll hear from Imam Mikal Shabazz, Rabbi David Straus, the Reverend Judith Sullivan, Landau from the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations, and Francis Kelly, the Assistant General Manager of SEPTA. I want to thank Reverend Malcolm Byrd from the Mayor's Office of Faith-Based Initiatives for his efforts in organizing today. But most importantly, I want to thank all of you as Philadelphians, city of faith, city of tolerance, city of openness, and a city of love. We're here in what is generally known as Love Park, of course, JFK Plaza. Let me also recognize Elad Strohmeyer, Deputy Consul General for Israel here in Philadelphia, and Marwan Creedy, who's with the Philadelphia Arab American Development Corporation and Community. Both of these individuals, both, are here to show their deep concern with hate speech and their support for the freedoms that we all share, love, and appreciate as Americans. Can we please give everyone a round of applause? As the mayor of this great city, I am entrusted with major decisions and communications that advance the larger public good for Philadelphia. Occasionally, these decisions are both personal and very significant to our shared core principles and values. Such is the case this afternoon. Our unwavering commitment to the city of Philadelphia's virtues of brotherly love and sisterly affection, justice for all, and the right to peacefully assemble compel us to stand together in solidarity in support of a new local initiative called Dare to Understand. Dare to Understand was developed to help citizens and local communities respond to the circulation of inflammatory and hateful political advertisements that disparage and target religious communities and people of faith. Now, as you certainly well know, I have an unwavering support for our Constitution and the Bill of Rights, including, of course, our first right, which is the right to free speech. And we must stand in opposition to anyone who would seek to diminish our rights, which were established, of course, right here in Philadelphia. However, we will also not allow any misguided and opportunistic political tactics to undermine or obscure the shared respect among communities of faith, nor will we permit it to distract or disrupt our city as we prepare for and enjoy a week in which we observe the great religious traditions of Easter and Passover and other traditions or religious holidays that anyone else may enjoy. Our religious communities are among the most treasured and vital assets of our great city. You all have contributed to our reputation as a respectful, tolerant, and culturally diverse city. Philadelphia is a city of hope, founded upon a revolutionary idea, tolerance of differences, whether religious or otherwise. While the Quakers of William Penn's era set a tone for discourse and behavior, it was the succeeding, and it is the succeeding generations of immigrants from all over the world who to this day are challenged, struggle, and often do achieve these ideals. We will share that history of tolerance with the world when we welcome His Holiness Pope Francis for the World Meeting of Families in September. I want to acknowledge the diligent efforts of SEPTA in its legal challenge to the objectionable and intolerable materials submitted for prominent advertisement and display on their vehicles. This was a costly investment in defense of brotherly love and respect. Clearly, every effort to increase our awareness and respect for and appreciation of our differences helps us to maintain our ideals of brotherly love and sisterly affection that has been the strength and is an emblem of what best defines our incredibly diverse city. Dare to Understand will provide a practical framework for residents and organizations that seek to strengthen our city's time-honored values. And with that, please welcome to the podium Imam Mikal Shabazz.
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise is due to God, the Lord, the cherisher and sustainer of all the worlds. We bear witness to the fact that there is no God worthy of worship except the one God. He has no partners, no associates, and we bear witness that Prophet Muhammad, to whom the Quran was revealed, is the slave servant and messenger of Allah, and the seal of all the prophets who have preceded him, including Moses and Jesus and Abraham. To our Honorable Mayor, Michael Nutter, to our elected and appointed officials, to the business and civic leaders, our religious leaders, within and outside of the Islamic faith, and especially to the citizens of this great and wonderful city of ours, our beloved city, Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. On behalf of the Muslims who support our position, and our position is the position of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah forever be upon him, which we believe is the position of tolerance, of understanding, and most importantly, of peace. We thank you for your support for truth, justice, and righteousness. It's been said in the previous scriptures to know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Free from arrogance, free from false pride, free from greed and selfishness, and free from ignorance. The truth of the matter is that in the Quran it says, had Allah not checked one people by means of another, the monasteries, the churches, and the synagogues, and the mosques, where God's name is mentioned often, would have been destroyed. The truth of the matter is that in the Quran it says that those who believe in the scriptures, the Christians, the Jews, the Sabians, and the Muslims, all of them will have their reward from their Lord. And in the Quran, the truth of the matter is says that if God wanted all of us to be exactly the same and believe all the same, then he would have made us all the same. But he made us different so that we could come to know and understand each other. And so each of us had this opportunity to worship him and serve him in the manner that is comfortable for our souls. And so that is indeed the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is that during the history of the great Jewish people, the greatest time of their prosperity was under the rule of Muslim Spain. History bears witness to that fact. So for anyone to say that we hate Jews, or anyone else of faith doesn't know what they're talking about. History bears witness to that fact. The truth of the matter is that Jews, Muslims, and Christians have the same father, Abraham. We're of the Abrahamic faith. We're all related to one another. In the spirit of truth, I just want to make 3 simple points. As you've already heard our beloved mayor say that SEPTA is not responsible for these ads. They went through a legal battle and they lost, but they spent a lot of money trying to do it. And so the first point I want to make is for the Muslims who work for SEPTA. Do not continue to serve in the work that God has called you to. We have to take the example from our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be and blessings be upon him. We should recognize and understand that people of faith, and especially our prophets who represent the stages of human development, all went through this period where they were lied upon and that they were disrespected, but in spite of that, they continued to serve their mission that God had ordained for them. In spite of the opposition that they face, they continued to serve and give that message. And so for the members, Muslims who are workers at SEPTA, continue to serve with honor and do your job and serve the people. This is what he's called you for. And the next message is for those Muslim youth who are very passionate about the religion of Islam, as you can see all over the world. Do not let this message affect you in a way that causes you to act in a manner which is unbecoming of a Muslim. It's the antithesis of Islam to go berserk and cause destruction, violence, and vandalism against SEPTA. Don't do that. And so my message to the Islamic leaders is to encourage your constituents to not behave in that manner like they do in so many other parts of the world, where they say something bad about the Prophet and all of a sudden they're burning buildings and killing people. That is totally the antithesis of the Islamic way and is against the sunnah of our beloved Prophet, or the way of our Prophet. We must remember that when he tried to give his message, he was opposed by many people, including his neighbor. One neighbor, for example, used to put thorns in his path, and we would come out in the morning, he would step on them and try to hurt the Prophet. But one day, there were no thorns out there. And the Prophet wondered, what happened? And he found out that this woman was sick, and he went and visited her and asked how she was doing. And she said, you know, you did this, Muhammad, and all this bad stuff I did to you. And on that basis alone, she accepted the religion of Islam. And this is the way of our prophets. They are kind and loving and forgiving. So don't allow this message by those who have some ulterior motive to cause division among the human family and cause us to fight and hate and kill one another. We will not allow ourselves to succumb to such low mentality. It's a test. In the Quran, it says, do you think you will be left alone only saying that you believe and not be tested? All of our prophets went through a test. What makes people of faith think that they have to do less than that? So it's par for the course. The truth indeed is the light, and the light will shine. And the fact of the matter is that those of you who are here today recognize that fundamental fact, and that's why you're here. Because you know better. And when you know better, naturally, you're going to do better. The truth of the matter is very obvious. We are free by the grace of Allah in this particular country to worship as we see fit. In fact, we're even free not to have any faith. And we protect that right. And that is Quranic philosophy. There is no compulsion in the religion. The right way is clearly distinct from the wrong. So to all of our brothers and sisters within the human family, independent of our race, our religious labels, our economic status, or our political persuasions, or any other factor that some may want to use to divide us, we must know, like our God, that we are one. Kulun min Adam wa Adam min Torah. All people were created from Adam, and he was created from dust. And so, as in the words of our beloved brother Martin, he said, we either live together, learn to live together, or perish as fools. So there's no better place to demonstrate this beautiful concept than in a city that bears the name and is found within the sacred scriptures, Philadelphia. A city of sisterly affection and brotherly love. A city, again, mentioned in scripture, and it's so coincidental that this city, Philadelphia, the number of letters within that city is 12. And you might think that this might be coincidental, but what's interesting is I was looking at some of the history about our city. It's actually 39 feet above sea level, and 3 and 9 is 12. And it has 141.6 square miles, and when you add all those numbers up together, you get 12. Now, I don't know what all this means. It's just coincidental. It also consists of 7.5 square miles of water, and when you add that up, you get 12 too. And it happens to be in a state called the Keystone State. And that name, Pennsylvania, also has 12 letters. Again, all these are signs from our Lord that we can take heed to and reflect upon. So what better place is there for such a reunion of the human family to occur than in a city which bears the name Philadelphia? What better people are there than those of us who are diversified in our race, in our religions, in our economic, in our social status? What better people are there than us? We represent humanity. Every nationality that exists on the face of the earth can be found here in Philadelphia. And what better time is it than right now when our world is falling apart at the seams all over the world because of some minor differences that we may have with each other. So this, beloved brothers and sisters, is the place. We are the people, and now is the time. And that, my brothers and sisters, is the truth of the matter. It's our time. This is our place. We are the people. Thank you very much.
Imam Shabazz, thank you very, very much for that powerful message. Let me ask now for Rabbi David Straus to come to the podium. Rabbi?
So, Imam, I don't know what all of those numbers mean either, but we do have a long tradition in Judaism of looking at numbers and having them reveal secrets called gematria, so maybe some of my colleagues can explain a bit better. I want to share two statements. One, a statement that was adopted by the Religious Leaders Council of Greater Philadelphia. I serve as one of the co-conveners of the Religious Leaders Council, and the Religious Leaders Council represents some 30 faith groups here in our community. Last May, a New Hampshire-based group known as the American Freedom Defense Initiative sought to purchase advertising space on SEPTA as part of a campaign that AFDI has pursued in transit systems in several major cities across the country, including New York City, Washington, and San Francisco. SEPTA declined due to the derogatory and hurtful nature of these messages. As you all know, on March 11th, the courts ruled that SEPTA must accept these ads. The 4-week ad run on some 84 SEPTA buses is expected to begin momentarily. While we members of the Religious Council of Greater Philadelphia affirm the constitutional protection of free speech, that does not diminish our condemnation of irresponsible speech. The language used in these proposed advertisements is distorted, prejudicial, and inflames hatred. It was our hope as religious leaders that hate-filled messages would not be carried throughout the neighborhoods of Philadelphia on the sides of SEPTA buses, trolleys, or subways. We condemn the inflammatory messages that serve to divide, stigmatize, and incite prejudice. We will continue to reject attempts to stereotype any tradition or any community. Working as spiritual leaders and working with the members of the diverse faith and ethnic communities that form Philadelphia, our challenge and our hope is to strengthen the ties among all communities and to improve the quality of life. The Religious Leaders Council of Greater Philadelphia calls on the Greater Philadelphia community to join us in opposing intolerance and in building trust and understanding. Now I want to share a few personal words. Martin Niemöller, a Protestant pastor who emerged as an outspoken public foe of Hitler and spent the last 7 years of Nazi rule in concentration camps, is perhaps best remembered for this quotation. First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Friday night, Jews around the world were gathered together with family and friends at their Seder table and celebrate Passover. Passover is the holiday that commemorates our liberation from Egyptian slavery. It's a holiday when we remember what it means to feel like and to be the other. We begin our Seder by proclaiming Halachman Anya. This is the bread of affliction which our ancestors ate when they went forth to freedom. Now we are slaves, soon we will be free. Let all who are hungry come and eat. We begin our Seder by acknowledging our solidarity with all who are oppressed, with the fight for injustice everywhere, in any place, for any people. And our Seder reaches its crescendo with the words of Rabban Gamliel, in every generation, each person must see him or herself as if he or she personally went forth from Egypt. That's why it's important for all people of faith and people of no faith to stand up and fight injustice, stereotyping, hatred against any people and all people in every place and every time. And that's why I am here today. Yes, hate speech is protected speech, but that does not make it responsible speech or true speech. The Philadelphia that I want to live in is the one which builds bridges between communities and dares to understand the other, that creates space for us to meet and learn from and with those who might be outside our normal zones of comfort. For we are enriched by a diverse community, and we are enriched by our encounters with the other. So let us dare to understand. Thank you.
Rabbi Straus, thank you very, very much. Okay, can I talk to you right after this, please? Let me finish this here, brother. Thank you. And I appreciate your interest in trying to pay your back taxes. I do. Reverend Judith Sullivan. I don't know where you were.
Mayor Nutter, elected and appointed officials, faith leaders, clergy, good people of Philadelphia. My name is Judy Sullivan. I am the chair of the board of the Interfaith Center of Greater Philadelphia, the dean of the Philadelphia Episcopal Cathedral, and a proud Philadelphian. The principle of religious tolerance was at the heart of William Penn's dream for Philadelphia, and he called it a holy experiment, imagining a society where people of different faiths could share the benefits of freedom. That dream became our gloriously diverse city, where persons of all faiths live and work side by side, peacefully and respectfully. While we support freedom of speech, we will not stand by when our beloved city is threatened by ugly, inflammatory, hateful words and images designed to divide us. When our children, who ride SEPTA buses to school every day, are confronted with images of Adolf Hitler that tear at our hearts and the fabric of our social order, we will respond. The Interfaith Center of Greater Philadelphia is joined today by a coalition of faith and civic partners from more than 20 groups across this city, working together to strategize a constructive response. We invite you, the citizens of our region, to join us in our campaign to dare to understand, to be a part of that positive response. Please visit the website, daretounderstand.org, to find resources and information to learn how you and your family can be part of this movement to promote dialogue and hope and cooperation. As a follower of Jesus, I urge all Christian faith communities to walk with their neighbors of other faiths in empathy and support, especially with our Muslim sisters and brothers. Reach out in love, and solidarity in this holy time in the Christian calendar as we walk this week with Jesus, our Lord, to the cross. He who knew what it was to be marginalized, he who knew what it was like to be treated as the other. Reach out in love and solidarity that all might know the freedom, justice, and fullness of life that God intends for all God's children. May our holy experiment in this great city continue with the blessings of God's mercy and grace and peace. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am very proud to represent the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations today, and we have been a part of the coalition spearheaded by the Interfaith Center for many months now, leading up until this day. We are the city agency that works every single day to bring people together across differences, to safeguard people's beliefs, and to make sure that we are all tolerant of each other. So while these ads are providing us with a bit of a deterrent for our work, we will not be dissuaded. We will not be moved from it. We are a better and stronger city than these ads before us. We will stand together. We will rise above this. And if this is any indication today of people from every single background and every single faith coming together to take a stand to say, we are better than these ads. We are strong Philadelphia. We are together. We are unified, and we will not be moved. We want to thank SEPTA for doing what they could to move us from here, to take a stand, to say that we don't want hateful messages of any kind in our city. But we will also stand together at this point to make sure that we're coming together and doing the work that we can all do. And with our coalition, we have created a great resource at Dare to Understand. Hashtag Dare to Understand We have a lot of resources available for everybody. Tell your neighbors this. Come together. And this Holy Week that we have now is a perfect opportunity. Get to know your neighbors. Get to know coworkers you never talked to before. Get to know people in other communities near you. This is the time that we come together, we cross differences, we get to know people who are different from ourselves. While many of us are going through a Holy Week right now, this is the opportunity. And I'm also going to tell you about 3 events that you will find at Dare to Understand that will help everybody continue to show the support that we can in Philadelphia. There's Peace Day Philly's Bridge Walk for Peace on April 4th, the Interfaith Peace Walk on April 26th, and the ADL's Walk Against Hate on May 17th. Join any of them, get to know your neighbors, stand together, stand up, and let's all get through this together. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Mayor, the Imam, Reverend, Rabbi, and all of our religious leaders here today. As you know, SEPTA rejects this hateful speech. We ended up in federal court over it. Unfortunately, we were not successful. We respectfully disagree with the court. But with that said, I have to be honest with you. Coming here before, when the mayor started to put this together, I thought, this is probably not a good idea to give them more of a platform, bring more attention. We want to pour cold water on something like this. But I have to tell you, standing here now, this actually could have a reverse effect. And people coming together and really show it, the eyes of the world will be on Philadelphia again. And I know that Philadelphia will shine once again. The good news, further good news is that we've changed the policy, and we will have to tolerate this for 30 days. But after the 30 days, you'll never see this kind of these kinds of ads again. It's wrong. We reject it, and I can't thank the Imam especially for his words of encouragement. Like I said, the world will be watching. Let's show the world what Philadelphia is really about. Thank you so much.
I think as Fran Kelly summed it up, and Rue Landau, and certainly all of our religious leaders, we are much better than this. Things happen. This is the United States of America. People express themselves in a variety of ways. It doesn't mean, while we may be required legally to accept it, it doesn't mean that we have to agree with it. For our children, I want to encourage our parents and those who work with children and care about children. It's a phrase often used. It's probably most appropriate at this time. This is a teaching moment. This is an opportunity to explain not only what this is about, why it's wrong, why it's going on, and what other people in this city are really all about, of different faiths, of different ethnic groups, of different traditions. And so utilize this negative moment and do our best to turn it into a positive moment so that kids years from now, and these children, if they have children, they can explain what was going on in 2015 and how the city of Philadelphia responded to this type of circumstance and situation. We will not tolerate this kind of behavior, hateful speech or expression to anyone here in the city. And I, too, also want to commend SEPTA. They made the right decision at the beginning of this, and unfortunately, again, being unsuccessful, the next decision for them is how much longer do you go, how much more of the taxpayer dollars do you expend, as opposed to doing their main mission. I do want to reemphasize the Imam's message, and certainly to all of the workforce at SEPTA, certainly including those who may be Muslim, but there are, I'm sure, many workers at SEPTA who will be dismayed and affected by these ads for however long they run. We appreciate the Imam's call to duty and to service, and please do your best, even under these negative circumstances, to serve the public, get through this period. And I was very, very pleased to hear from Fran about both the policy change and what we won't be seeing going forward. So we will be mindful. We will be mindful and we will be prayerful. This day and any other day, may God bless all of you and keep you in his loving arms. God bless. Bye-bye.